Units 9 through 10, Exp Logs Booklet 6. Characteristics. The type of function that this graph is representing is an exponential function, specifically exponential decay. Decay goes towards the horizontal asymptote, and then for growth, as x approaches infinity, y goes away from the horizontal asymptote. The domain for exponential functions is all real numbers, negative infinity to positive infinity. The horizontal asymptote is this line right here. It goes through y equals 0. We use that to find the range. The graph is above the horizontal asymptote. So y is going to be greater than 0, also known as 0 to infinity. And then the y-intercept is 0, 3. This one was exponential. This type is logarithmic. The vertical asymptote goes through the y-axis. X doesn't change there, it's always going to be 0. The domain for this one is x is greater than 0, also known as 0 to infinity. The range for logarithms is all real numbers, negative infinity to positive infinity. The x-intercept is 3, 0. Notice the exponential and the logarithm change positions on a lot of these values. In this box below, compare and contrast exponential and logarithmic function graphs. Let's analyze characteristics of these equations now. G of x equals log x minus 3. The vertical asymptote would be at x equals 3. We set this part equal to 0. So set the argument equal to 0 to find this. The domain is going to be from 3 to infinity. There was no reflections here. Now, if it was log of negative x minus 3, it would be from negative infinity to 3 instead. For the x-intercept, we want to set this equal to 0 and solve for the x. 0 equals log x minus 3, base each side by 10. 1 equals x minus 3, add 3 to each side. X equals 4. And then the translation from f of x equals log x to the new function g of x, and went to the right 3. Let's look at this exponential equation. It's also exponential growth. Since 2 is bigger than 1 and x is positive. horizontal asymptote, that would be this number right here. Y equals -4. The range would be from -4 to infinity. This is because the function would be above the horizontal asymptote, since the multiplier here is positive, and that would mean that there's no reflection here. The y-intercept, plug in 0 for x and evaluate for y. So that's 2 to the third power minus 4. 8 minus 4, that's equal to 4. The translations from f of x equals to the x would be left 3 and down 4.